Good afternoon. Hopefully you guys can all come join us. So obviously you guys know that I'm in Wyoming, right? And so actually Shaun Horten, who is our special guest today, she's in the United States as well. So for us, it's 11 o'clock where I'm at. And even though she's in the United States with me, it's 1 o'clock in her time. So it's a great afternoon here. What time is it where you are? We got Shaun on. She gets to come join us. Hopefully Facebook will agree. Yes, it works. Good afternoon, Shaun. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So obviously, Tech Talk Worldwide is it's worldwide. It's linking people all around the world, nail techs obviously, to proper education, to getting to the right sources, how to buy wholesale versus, some of the um, third-party markets so that we can save money, be profitable, and all of that. And so one of the fun things about Tech Talk Worldwide is that we have techs that are like dinosaurs like me that's been in the industry for years. We have magazine editors, we have, big companies, and then we get an opportunity to bring in a brand new tech and go, how's it going for you? And so just to give you a little bit of an insight, Shaun messaged me just a few weeks ago. A private message was like, sorry to bother you, but I was wondering if I could bend your ear a little bit. And I don't know, maybe an hour later, we ended up video chatting. And then from then on, I think we've talked quite a bit. And so I'm super excited to introduce you guys to brand new tech in the industry for almost a year now of Shaun Horten. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and you've helped me so much, and it's just an honor to be in your presence.
Oh my gosh. I'm just Amy. I'm just a tech, but thank you so much. I appreciate that. We already have people coming on. Hi, Rachel and Elise. So I'm not sure, Shaun, can you see the comments as well?
Yep.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So if you see anything that you want to do a shout out to or whatever, just interrupt me and say hello if it's your friend, or if there's a question that comes up that I don't see, we'll get them all answered and stuff because today is going to be a little bit different tech talk. Like I've brought on some newbies before, but everybody's experience is so different. And so obviously I always like to hear how you got into the nail industry. So tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, obviously, as a girl, I like to play with nail polish and uh, do my own nails for the longest time. And about 18 years ago, I probably started to get comments on how well they liked my nails and like the designs I did and stuff like that. And I was like, maybe there's something here. And as I got older, my infatuation with nails just kept growing and growing. And so I started, I guess you could say, becoming obsessed with like nail polish, especially. And um, I mean, as I sit right now, I probably have about 450 bottles of polish that are my own.
Oh my
So
God.
I decided that, back in high school, I wanted to go to cosmetology school, but I really wasn't into the hair. So, and at that time, I really didn't know that there was just nails that people could do. And so, as I got older, I kind of learned. And back in 2013, I was supposed to go to school to get my license, but there was death in the family, and so my finances went for my husband to be out of work. And so when I got the opportunity again, I jumped at it and finally took it by storm. So that's kind of where I sit now. I
Yeah.
graduated in July of last year. And so in July, it'll be a year that I've been licensed.
That's so exciting. I'm trying to think of what month I graduated. I think I graduated in December, and so I was able to start my business first off right at the beginning of the year and try to make it happen from there. And so I think it's pretty exciting that obviously it's summertime and more people, this is like perfect timing in July to get started because people are vacationing. They want the nice nails for, I don't know, family reunions, barbecues, graduations, and stuff like that. Did you find that it was hard to start? When was the clientele starting to build up for you?
I actually, I've only done friends and family. I haven't done more than that. I did work at a nail salon for a couple months, um, and it was owned by a family, and they wanted everything done now, now, now. They want it fast in, fast out, and that's kind of not how I work. I don't think a pedicure should take a half an hour. I think it should be longer than that, at least an hour, 45
Yeah.
minutes at the least, personally. But a lot of it stemmed from my fear. So, actually, my last day at my job was yesterday, for a salon company that I worked for that supplied for salons. So we're going on vacation. When I get back, I'm starting at a salon, that's about half hour from me, and I will be the lead nail tech, which I'm so afraid, but I am kind of taking it with open arms and not letting myself use excuses anymore, because what's the point of having this if I'm not going to use it, kind of thing. And it's always been a passion, so what? I just set it on the back burner because I'm scared? That's not a good enough excuse for me.
Oh my goodness, Sean, you're speaking my language. I love it, love it, love it. And I actually just messaged somebody this morning that was like, "Oh, I'm scared for this or I'm scared for that," and
Same
no,
with
and I
nails.
am too nervous. And I actually messaged her and said, "What you need to be is come the quick yes girl. If you quickly, before your mind can take over and your conscience and your nerves, say yes." And then you can backtrack it later if you need to. But if you just say yes, it's amazing how many doors will open. And it makes you rise up to prove that yes. And so what you're doing is the yes girl thing. And I love that. Yes, I'm
It is
excited for
so
you.
scary, but I'm like, so my interview, I went in, and the lady had talked to me for a couple months prior, and she's like, I've wanted you since we talked, and so she's super excited that I'm coming to work out there. And so in my interview, we had a lady actually come into the salon, and she was curious about, when I'd be starting so she could get a pedicure done. I actually took her right then and there. So I just kind of dove in and accepted, the situation, and also wanted to show the lady that was taking me on that I'm not going to be a high risk, going to be like, yeah, I'm here, but since she said I can make my own hours, I want her to know that I'm in this for what it's for, and not just because I can make my own hours. Because a
Yeah.
lot of girls she had before would say, well, I don't like that product. I want to get this product. So she'd go out and get the product they wanted, and then they'd be there for 2 months and leave. So I told her I don't want her to purchase anything, and I have enough stuff that I can start. And, I want to show
With
her that I
400
can,
polishes.
huh?
I said with over 400 polishes, yes.
Just a little. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things where, I'm not in it because she takes people on, and she doesn't charge rent for the chair, and she also supplies the product. I don't want to take her on for that sole reason, and I think that a lot of people in her past have, and that's not going to improve me because I can see what I can get from her. I'm scared to start this in the first place, so somebody else coming on and saying, "Oh, well, I'll get all this stuff for you," doesn't kind of help the situation, I guess, for me. And
Yeah.
that's just how I am.
Yeah. So I've owned a salon for 26 years, and I always tell people that I think you need to do the threes. You need to either work in three different locations, work for like booth rental versus commission versus on your own with your own overheads. And so, you're working obviously in the threes, you've worked for somebody else, so you know what to compare to and what to look forward and say, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. You've been on your own and you realize that maybe you want to be in the salon setting. And now you're being able to compare all these together. And that I think is powerful, and it makes you a better tech because you can say, I like this, I don't like this, I'm going to look for this. And obviously, you've been able to wave through all of those and say, this is where I want to be. And you feel more confident when you do that. I'm so proud of you. You guys can see why I brought her on as a guest today. It's because of her go for it attitude. I'm so impressed with you.
Aw,
So,
thanks.
yeah. So, you know what? Let's help share a little bit of that kind of knowledge. It's been a long time since I've worked in another salon, so I don't know what people do anymore. I did learn a while back that they're having you in your interview kind of do a set of nails on the owner or something. Have you ever had to do anything like that?
Um, so my first salon I worked at, I was going to be licensed within 2 weeks. I had to finish my board test. So the girls there were really great, and I can say that unfortunately my school wasn't all that it could have been, and I pretty much had to sit in front of YouTube to learn what I did learn. Bookwork and stuff, it was there obviously because I can read through the book, but my instructor wasn't as available as she told me she would be, so I really didn't have anything to go off of, and just kind of my own knowledge of what I knew is what really kind of kept me going. And so when I started at the salon, they had me polish like a mannequin hand and stuff like that, but they didn't have me doing any acrylics or anything like that yet. So I really can say that they kind of took me under their wing in a way to kind of push me out the nest in a way. But again, because of how fast they wanted things done, I just felt like it was more for the money than it was to please the client, and that's not what I'm in it for.
Yeah, yeah. And that's very frustrating because immediately when you're in school and you're passionate and you save the money to go up for this, and you know that the time that you have to dedicate when the instructor is not as dedicated as you are, it's really hard to see. And as long as you pass state boards from then on, do you feel that it's a little bit more clear sailing? You get the right mentors, you learn to watch the videos with a little bit more hesitation of like, okay, that's just that person's opinion of how to use that product, and then this is this person's opinion, and then you start finding that you go more to the actual product lines. Like I just watched a live with Jenna Lambert. I was doing that just before we went live today, and she was showing all the Halo, new products that they have and all the glitters, and they show you how to apply their products using, their technique and stuff like that. That's the best education, and some of this is free. You have to pay for some of your education, but technology these days can help us techs once we're licensed get way farther than ever before. And so, like you watching YouTube, or Gail even mentioned that she's watched YouTube. I still watch YouTube daily.
Yeah.
Daily, I get on there for inspiration. It's amazing. And I'm thankful for people who go live like that.
I try to actually go from the source, like you were saying. So, like with Young Nails and stuff, I like to watch Habib and Greg and how they apply their products and stuff, because
Yeah.
if it's someone that actually made it, they're going to understand the chemistry of it more than anyone else. So, at least going from them and then watching somebody else that might use it and see how they apply it is kind of the best thing for me. I think Max with his company, Happy Gels, and all of that, I think watching him and stuff, and a lot of his videos are a lot more fast paced because he does a lot of live videos, but all in the same, I think that coming straight from the source is the best way to do it. And I mean, it hasn't stopped my passion. And I can say that since I talked to you, Amy, that first time kind of relit that flame in me that, okay, maybe this is the path that I want to keep going on, because I know that school is a lot of, well, you're learning, sanitation and all the biology behind it and stuff. But there also is a point where you have a teacher that you can bounce ideas off of and talk to. And everybody that I went to school with told me that I got the bad end of the stick here because she wasn't as available as she could have been, because I would sit back in the corner in the back of the school and do my own thing. And that was my daily routine. And so it wasn't, I can say it wasn't really fair
No,
for me as a student, but you know what?
come back.
Uh oh.
Okay.
Can
And I
you hear
think
me?
that's on my end. It told me that it was trying to reconnect to the internet. So I moved it over just a little bit. So I'm really sorry for that delay.
That's okay. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So continue on again.
What did you hear too?
So the last I heard is that you were sitting in the back of the room and kind of being more of a solo tech and just having to really figure it out on your own. And
Yeah.
oh, so
Um,
frustrating.
so so it was a lot of my inspiration came from reaching out to people on Facebook, or I mean, I even reached out to Young Nails, and Habib actually messaged me back, and that was wonderful. And just being able to connect with people and the willingness of the people that are higher up in the companies and stuff that make these products, them personally getting a hold of you, you're like, wow, they really do care. So it was a lot of that kept me going and going. You know what? The school is what it is. I'll get past it. I graduated with the straight A. I was a straight A student. I had the passion for it, and I wasn't going to let them hold me back. But I was very, very intimidated when it came to actually working on a client to do more than just a manicure.
Yeah. And in school, isn't that so true? You'll practice on like the mannequin hands or some tips, but you might do a full set in school, but the product that they supply to you in school is not always a good professional product, and they don't supply you with nice files. I mean, they're just trying to give you the minimum. And so the retention when you realize when you get into the salon is so much different. So
Yeah,
usually the people have a whole lot of lifting and you never get to do a fill on them. You end up removing everything and doing full sets. So that's that's one of the reasons why I started doing workshops is because I realized that some of these girls in school had never even worked on a real person and they didn't know how to do fill or repair, proper technique. They knew sanitation,
yeah,
you know, but if you don't have a client, how much are you going to be sanitizing?
right, right.
Yeah.
That
So
was
what
kind
about,
one of the things you were saying about like the fill and stuff. My school didn't supply me with a hand. It supplied me with a latex glove and tips to glue onto it, which we filled with cornmeal. So like my hand that I have here, I purchased this on my own so I could have it in school since I did nails. And the other thing, as you were saying with the product, the low odor monomers that we use that are oil based, that's what I had to use in school. So when I got out of school and had my regular monomer again, I was so uncomfortable with it. It was really hard to get back into it because I had
yeah.
used the oil monomer so much, and the consistency is so different because alcohol and oil based is so different. It really took me a while to teach myself how to use regular monomer again.
Yeah, yeah. And you're talking about these product companies and Habib getting back with you. Young Nails has actually been one and throughout my career that has helped me the most, the absolute most. And Greg and Habib know that. And it's interesting that we think they're so unreachable and that, whatnot. But every single person that I've talked to in my entire career or through Tech Talk Live, it's been like one message that I've sent them. Hi, I'm Amy. Introduce yourself, be professional because they're professional, and say, don't say, I have a question for you. Do you have time? Say, this is the question that I have at this moment. Ask the question because they're busy. And you know
Yeah,
what? They answer it. they answer it. They give you that. It might take a day or so to get back to you. It's amazing. They want you to use their product, so they will answer you. If not, they'll find somebody to answer, for you. And so do not get frustrated if it takes a little bit of time. And sometimes you might have to submit the question more than once. And then make sure that you're talking to the right person about the right product,
Yeah.
because that just happened to me. They were like, "Oh my gosh, I have." It was a hard gel question, and I'm going to be honest, I've used hard gel, but I'm not a specialist in hard gel. And they were asking me all these questions about one of my workshops that they learned hard gel. And I'm like, you're talking to the wrong person. However, I'm polite and I'm like, are you maybe talking about Becky or Kim? I know they just did a workshop on that and I'll steer you the right way. But if you start asking questions about something that product line doesn't have, you might be, it's little things like that. And so be professional. Maybe even send your picture with it and say, hi, I'm Amy Masters and I've been doing nails for, how many months or whatever. And I want to use your product, but this is what I'm troubleshooting at this time. They will answer you back. And it's amazing. It's pretty fast. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. But you need to step out of your box and actually message them. That's what it takes. I remember when you and I were first talking, and you made me feel really good, but I had never seen that anybody would react that way ever when they saw me live on the screen.
You
Sean
mean my
was,
fangirl?
you were so excited, and it made me feel really good, but in a way, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no I didn't realize that I have an impact on anybody. Like I like teaching artwork. I'm just sharing my nerdy nail knowledge, but I didn't realize that the knowledge that I was sharing really impacted people as much as it did until I met you. And so
Uh-huh.
you really tugged on my heartstrings a lot. So thank you for that.
No problem. I
That's
mean, yeah, I the one of the girls that we've actually had a play date and got to play with each other's products because I had some she didn't, she had some I didn't, and we had talked about you before, and I told her, I'm like, you're never gonna believe who I talked to last night, and she's like, who? And I'm like, Amy Masters. She's like, the Amy Masters, and I'm like, yes, and she's like, oh my god, and I was like, oh, I know, I was so excited, and yeah, you definitely have really put, I think, the nail industry on social media, on the map, because I actually had one of the guys that works in the salon I'm going to be working in, he does hair. And he told me that he was so grateful that I'm coming on. He said, I found that nail techs are like unicorns. He goes, everybody usually does the full cos course, and straight nail techs, they usually just do hair because that's where the money is, what they have time for. They don't really want to sit down and they're not really into the nails. So us as a profession really don't get the boast that we deserve because we are so few and far between. And when I started reaching out on Facebook to try and get connected with all these different nail groups, just to see, what are they doing? What is it that they um, enjoy to work with and stuff like that. And then I found you and I was like just blown away. And everybody that you get to talk to, me and my friend Brittany we were fangirling when you had when it was you and Christy from Neo Nails. We were just like, oh my god, did you watch the live? It was so great. And we got to message and you guys talking to us back. It was like, oh my god. Like,
Yeah.
so, I mean, in our eyes, even though, I mean, we're from Michigan and stuff, but we're completely fangirls of you guys, so.
Well, I can tell you, I'm a Kirsty Meakin fangirl too, and I get to meet her. We're gonna both teach. We're nail stars on the cruise that's in November, and I get to meet her. So I am like you. I'm the, oh my gosh, I get it. Yeah, exactly that. So I get it, but I just didn't ever see me in that same kind of spotlight. I still don't. And speaking of spotlight, I apologize. The sun's coming up from behind me, and it's giving me a nice little aura glow. So
It's
that's
very
funny.
fitting for this video.
And so, Sean, let's talk a little bit more about, okay, so obviously in the first salon that you had tried, was it booth rent or commission?
It was, so I was on payroll till I got licensed, and then it was going to be commission. And the one thing that they kept telling me is that it's feast or famine. And with the winter coming up, they're like, you need to start saving your money now, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I started there in June. So there was only a couple months before it was going to die down. And I was concerned because I'm like, okay, do I get another job? But they want you there so you can sit there because they only take walk ins at that place because it's in a Walmart. And their other location was in Myers. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do this. Well, I actually came down and I had a kidney stone. So I had to be out of work and ended up, after, because I was there for a little bit, after leaving, um, and they're like, well, just get better, let us know when you want to come back. And I mean, they're still in the status of, they think they're fully staffed now. If I wanted to, they would take me back, which is amazing feeling, but it just wasn't the right course for me. And so when I was on my leave, I decided to let them know that I wasn't going to be coming back when my episode was all over because it just wasn't the right fit for me. I'm passionate, but I'm not a well. Well, we need to get this done so you can get out of here. That's just not how I work. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? A lot of people are. I can say there was a huge many years in my career that I did appointments every single hour. I was still personalized with the clients, but not like I am today. And it really was about how much money I can pull in a day. My goal was $300 a day because I had massive amounts of overhead. I started pulling in more techs again, and at one time I had 7 nail techs, all full time, all fabulous techs, and we were all run down. None of us were happy. We always greeted the people when they walked in, but we realized that we were in that next mode. Next. If somebody showed up early, we were getting mad. If they didn't show up, we were excited. I mean, that's how busy we were.
Yeah.
And being able to like restart. So for me, I moved 2 years ago and I had to restart completely in an area that nobody knew who I was. Very small town. I think we have like 650 people in our town. Majority of the people have to drive 30 minutes to come here to get their nails done. I did not think it would work. I'm like, how am I going to be able to get this out of there? And so having to re-energize myself and go, what do I really want? If I could make changes, what would it be? And so anytime you get to start in a new salon fresh, like what were you doing, you get to take that and go, okay, I'm not doing every hour appointments. And you know what? My overhead's a lot less. I don't have to work the way that I did before. So sometimes it's nice that we have the option that we can pull days like that. But in the longevity, every tech that I've talked to, they like that they can have more time in between clients. They like that they're more personable to each client. In fact, Layla in our group just this morning said, behind the scenes, she said, I'm going to quit taking more clients. I'm going to start pampering more the clients that I have and letting them know all the services I have to offer. And isn't that so true? So true when you can kind of step back a little bit and say, I'm not doing this for the right reasons. And so I really like that you were able to make that change. It's sad that it took something like a kidney stone for you to go, okay, I think I'm going to change things.
Well, and I kind of had that feeling, but I was like, you know what? I'm new in this game. At least I can learn from the women, and they can teach me. And then maybe in a year I can move on from it. But unfortunately, yeah, the kidney stone kind of pushed me a little faster than I expected. But
Yeah.
yeah, I want the quality of it, and I want people to enjoy being able to come and get their nails done because it's supposed to be a luxury. That's the whole point. People that try to discount their service and stuff like that. The whole point of what we do is a luxury that if if it's not a necessity, then you don't do it. And I mean that sucks too because then that messes with our livelihood. But I get what you're saying. I live so our busy town is Traverse City, Michigan, um, and I live about 30 minutes from there. So we set up my daughter's old room as my nail room, and I have my stuff in here. But I was really scared to try and get people to come out to me because I thought they're not going to want to drive a half an hour and then sit for an hour, hour and a half, And
Yeah.
so I didn't really even advertise for that. And so starting in a salon, I think will be good for me. One, because I can get more of my groundwork done, and two, because when I'm ready to start bringing people into my home, I can be more personable and I can be more of who I want to be as a nail tech and go, okay, it's going to happen from here, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sherry and Carrie absolutely agree with you that, trying to taking your own reins and being your own boss, even though you're in another salon and controlling those hours, that's huge. So the reason why I brought up the past, so in the salon that you're getting ready to go into, is that booth rent or is that commission?
It's going to be commission. She is actually an amazing woman. She knows nothing about the cosmetology world. She just owns a salon. But because I'm going to be coming in, and because she's had people come in wanting to get nails done and stuff, she wants to start me out as payroll. Once I start getting the clientele, then she's going to switch me to commission.
Very, very
So
nice. And so, did they have you sign a contract at all? Okay. So contracts can be good for both sides. So just from my own opinion and my own experience, I would have her sign some sort of a little bit of a contract that said on such and such date, or when I have this many regular clients, we're going to start a commission, and on that contract, what the percentage will be, and that in 6 months or a year from then, you get to renegotiate that percentage. Because maybe you'll start off as like 60-40, that you get 60%, she gets 40. But really, when you are a lead tech like that and you have a full-time clientele, it's more 70-30. And then in that contract, you want to state, this is monthly, what I have as a budget that we can communicate together for new product. Even if it's $20 a month, that's a gel
right,
polish that every month, or a glitter or a new brush, something that's negotiable in there. But if you have a contract that saves you, the biggest thing on the contract though is renter's insurance. A lot of people don't talk about that. And my salon was broke into once. Thank God they didn't steal anything, but they broke a lot of things that we had to replace. My insurance would only cover the building and my product. It didn't cover my text products. And so renter's insurance is what saves you. And so in a contract, your insurance company will want this contract, and in the contract will say, you supply these products and she supplies these products. That way, if something does happen to that building, in the contract it says that it will cover your products because she supplies it. Does that make sense?
yes,
And so even though the contract be very vague, I would definitely get a contract put together because it shows that you're professional and that she's going to hold up. Another big thing that's really funny. So in the state of Wyoming, whoever owns a salon has to purchase all the bathroom supplies. And so a lot of people don't think about that because all of a sudden the salon owner's like, well, you got to buy paper towels this time for the bathroom, or you have to buy toilet paper or whatever. That's not your responsibility. So check with your state rules of what the salons have to offer and what you have to offer, because sometimes it's different. And then sometimes in the contract, they'll say, I'm only going to supply X, Y, and Z products. Any glitters, any additives, any foils, you have to supply. But get that in the contract so that when you leave 5 years later and you're going to open your own, she's going to be like, nope, that belongs to the salon. And you're like, nope, these are things I purchased over the years. And another thing in a contract is make sure that you get the keys to the salon, that you have full access to go whenever you want. Because a lot of times when people work hourly or commission, they don't get keys. So if a client calls them, or you want to do your own, or you want to go live doing a nail tutorial, you don't have access to the salon. And so make sure that you have access to the salon. It sounds like you're in a really good deal.
yeah. She's like, because she said that she was really standoffish to the last tech she had. She wasn't quite sure how she felt about her, and she would shop at the supply store I worked for, and she, from the day she met me, she's like, I'd like you to come work for me and stuff. And I was like hesitant, and it's been a couple months. And when I went out there and I said, what was it about me that makes you so comfortable to just, because she's like, I'm ready to give you a key right now. And I'm like, well, what is it about me? She goes, I can read people pretty well. And she goes, I know that you're not in it to try and screw me over. I know you're in it because you're passionate about it, and I know that you want to make a difference. And she said, so all those put aside, she goes, I could just tell that you were the type of person I want. And I
Yeah.
mean, for me, that's amazing. For her not to really know me at all and to be like, here's a key, because
Yeah.
yeah, in the interview, she's like, I'm ready to give you a key right now if you're gonna take the job.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
that's awesome.
definitely um, really exciting. She wants me to send her a bunch of pictures so she can start blasting me on Facebook and social media to get me some clientele and stuff. So I mean, I think that I was the other day when, well, a couple weeks ago when she came back in and told her that, I was leaving and stuff. It was the right place, the right time, and everything's just kind of been falling into place, and it's amazing. So,
Mhm.
and as much as you don't think so, I wouldn't be taking this step without you.
Ah, no, no crying on TikTok. Sean, that's those are some beautiful words because I know that we talked a lot about where you want to be and stuff like that. And I actually have another tech that I've been talking to that has had a cleaning job, her security job. Oh my goodness.
No
For,
crying, no crying. The vapors.
for many years. It's her security blanket, you know. But her passion's nails. And she finally was like, Amy, guess what? I get to quit it. Thank you for giving me that. Thank you for that. And you guys, don't always go quit your other job. We need that security. However, when you feel, you'll have that gut feeling and that heartfelt feeling of saying, you know what, it's now or never, and I got to do this, and I have to, um, oh my gosh, go away. And I have to take these steps because if I don't, I feel like I won't go. You know what I mean? It's not the fear of getting there, it's the fear of losing it. So you
Yeah.
finally get to that fear of like, if I don't do this now, I'm gonna lose it, right? So it's not that you don't think you can make it, it's the fact that it might go away. And so when you get that, you go for it. And oh my goodness. Okay. I might have to take a little
I
break.
I'm very grateful. My husband is absolutely amazing, and so this whole thing of me leaving my job and stuff was to try and make this work, no matter what it took. Um, I was going to do it from here, and then she came in, and we kind of talked and stuff. So I went out there, and I'm like, this is the right choice. So I'm not telling everybody to quit their job and just dive in, because
Yeah.
definitely you need to be able to make a living for yourself. But it's also, for me, it was one of those things where if I didn't do something, if I didn't take this step, I never was going to. And if I don't, I will never know. And then what, 10, 15 years down the road, it turns into what if? What if I would have? And,
Yeah.
and so trying to be proactive and go forward and try and get this done, at least to see, what, to say maybe it's not the right choice for me. Maybe it's not the right path. But you know what? At least I can say I tried, and I
Yeah.
have all this amazing support that I have between my husband, my family, you, everybody on Facebook that really is encouraging and stuff. And as much as you don't think so, you are an amazing mentor, especially for people that are like, for me, I had lost my passion because I didn't have anybody being like, yeah, you can do this. We can try it a different way. Or, don't worry about that customer, because just because they're picky doesn't mean you did a bad job. Or, like, I think the last time I actually had a client come in when I was in school, she had her daughter. And I have standards for when it comes to kids, especially. I won't do anybody under the age of 16 for acrylics. And if they're not accompanied by an adult, I definitely won't do them until they're 18. Just because of the nail plate and the growth of a nail plate, there's a lot to do with that. But so I gave her my phone number just so I could get some feedback on how her daughter's nails are doing. Well, I reached out to her about 4 days later, and she's like, all her nails are off. All of them came off. I'm like ripped off or fell off or what. And so that day that I reached out to her, I had a lady come in that wanted her nails done, and I told my instructor, this is what's going on. Their nails fell off. I'm not comfortable doing this girl's nails where you're going to charge her. And if they're going to just fall off in a couple days, you know, what do I do? What do I do? You'll figure it out. Just do it. I said no. And they were like, well, if you don't do it, you'll get sent home. And if you get sent home, you may not graduate. I was like,
Wow.
you've got to be kidding me right now. And so I took it upon myself. I went and talked to the lady that wanted to get her nails done. And I told her, you know what? Why don't we do something different than acrylic? You know, we could do gel polish, we could do gel nails, because I was really scared of the acrylic after that with the product I was using. Um, so she decided to just get her nails painted. And then afterwards, my instructor came up to me and said, did you seriously talk her out of doing acrylics? I said, no. I just gave her some other options she didn't know she had. Well, that
Yeah.
doesn't make us money. I'm not here for you to make money. I paid you for my education and I'm not getting it. So
Yeah.
when it turned around and it came back after I graduated and everything, they reached out to me so they could put it in a report to show how many graduating students they had that were successful. I told them, you didn't teach me anything. YouTube and myself taught me. I want you to put in your report that I'm not a successful nail tech and I can't be hireable because you guys don't deserve it. And that's exactly what I told them. I said, I'm sorry if you know you're upset about it, but this is how I feel. And they said, okay.
Hmm.
And I haven't heard from them since. Because you know what? I did this. I did this on my own without their help. I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even get them the way I should have at least. So I felt like they didn't deserve the credit.
Yeah. I wish Karen Squidward, she's in our admin. She's, getting qualified at this time, and she too has an instructor that, let's just say that when Karen gets the opportunity to become an educator herself, she's going to be amazing, just like what you said. And, what is your goals? Do you plan on later on, would you like to become a consultant, an educator, your own product line?
Um, you know, I haven't really thought about down the road. I just kind of want to get people in front of me. I would like to kind of be behind the scenes in a way. I would like to be able, kind of like what Greg does for Young Nails, where he does a lot. He does clients, but he does a lot of the artwork and stuff to show.
Yeah.
And kind of my goal is to do like a YouTube tutorial channel because as much as I would love to have people in my chair all the time, realistically, I honestly don't know how long I have with my hands. Something that we talked about before.
Yeah.
Not trying to be an excuse, but because I may need those breaks in between, I feel that that would be like the best thing because my favorite thing to do is the nail art. I like
Yeah.
people to go, wow, that looks amazing. How did you do that? That's probably one of the best feelings I have. So,
Yeah.
nail art is probably where my big passion is.
And it sounds like, so it seems like we become a specialty or specialized in an area. And over the years, I didn't realize that my clients came back for was, I mean, the nails had retention. I don't even think they thought about the nails. All they thought about was artwork. And so I didn't realize that I specialized in it until you later on look back at your portfolio and you realize that none of that is about shape, structure, none of it. It's all about art. And so you realize that becomes your specialty. There are so many, many techs. So in Wyoming, you have to be a licensed tech to work on anybody at all. So there are so many salons and techs, just like set up like hairdressers are. They have like the shampoo person, they have the person that does cut specialist, and then a color specialist and a style specialist. They are now doing that in nail salons. They have somebody that's just doing all the prep and product. That's their comfort level. That's all they want to do. They want to do nothing at all when it comes to art. So in your state, is it a possibility that you could either bring in an apprentice to do all your prep work and stuff like that, and you can just do art, or that you can team up with another nail tech and do that?
Yeah, I possibly could. Like I was telling you, Brittany and I have gotten together, and she's an amazing artist as well. I do want to pause that really quick and So, um, Isabella, I totally agree with the got to think of them as your own child and stuff. And then Jessica, what do you mean by seasoning the nails? Do you know what she means, Amy?
Files. Yeah. So she learned to season the files in school. So sometimes when you get files, the edges of them are super rough. And so
So,
seasoning is
wait,
taking another one and kind of smoothing it out. I
yep, I
can say
gotcha.
that the Pro 4 or the 4 Pro and the floury ones, I've never had to season them at all, ever. And that they don't cut.
It's
They
so they
can
don't
still.
cut the skin.
So sometimes you have to find a file that works for you. I can say you have to spend a little bit more for the quality of file, but I seasoned my files for years. I actually have a story about, so one of the girls that worked in my salon, Wyoming is very strict. You cannot reuse files at all. If they see a file in your drawer that at all looks used or has the lines across it, uh, I mean, you're done. They will shut you down at that moment or ticket you or warn you. And when they shut you down, it's for 30 days. And then in writing, you have to say what you did wrong and what you did to perfect it. And then 30 days, your license is reinstated. I mean, they're very, very strict about files. Well, she had a seasoning file, the one file that she used to season the others, in that same drawer. Never been used on a client. They, for 30 days, shut her down. They did not fine her. She had to prove it. I even wrote in and fought it, and I'm like, no, this is not right. And so there's these toothpaste or toothbrush holders that are two-part that you can open up and put toothbrush in. So we ended up starting putting our seasoning file in a toothbrush holder so that we could put it in that drawer so it was separate from the others. Like that's how some places can be so strict. So I started investing more money in my files so I didn't even have to have a seasoning file. It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, Michigan actually just dropped their law, so we can no longer use disinfectable files because we could put them in the barbicide and stuff. We can no longer do that, so we have to get a new file for each client now as well. Which I I understand, but at the same time, especially I don't want to single out other kind of companies, but there's companies out there that don't do what they're supposed to do. There's some in Michigan where I don't know how they get away with what they do and they don't get docked or anything, but
Right.
I think that a lot of that has to do with, they do it, so it's kind of like one person ruining it for everybody kind of thing.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah. Here's how I always describe it. First of all, Sue, I don't know if you saw Sue's comment. It says, Shaun, you are speaking my life at the moment. I totally understand what you're dealing with and you're going through. I knew for a fact bringing you on Tech Talk that you were going to be powerful to a lot of people because you're powerful to me. And so I
uh,
absolutely love that you're doing this. Um, so, uh, oh, I lost my train of thought.
okay, Carrie, bye.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what were we just talking about? The files.
Season nail files and the laws and how one person ruined it for everybody.
Okay, so here's how I look at that. So my husband is a cop, right? If you speed, you get pulled over, right? In life, we all have to try it. We're all speeding, we're 5 miles over, whatever. We're breaking the law and we know it. But until we get caught, and if we get caught going 5 miles over, are we really going to get a ticket? Or are they going to say slow it down and give you a warning ticket? Salons are the same way. They're going to push, push, push because maybe they'll get there faster. Maybe they can save a little bit of money by reusing a file. They're not going to get shut down and get the big fines for the little things like that. So another story in the salon is one of my techs had moved from my town to it's Cheyenne, where actually state board is in Cheyenne. And the people from state went to that salon and they were using, she called me, she's like, Amy, they're using bleach in their pedicure tubs. We can't use bleach, can we? And I'm like, no, we can't use bleach. We have to, barbicides, cavicides, run it for 10 minutes. She goes, they use bleach in it and they just wipe it out with like these little bleach wipes. And I'm like, and state goes there and they allow that? And she's like, yeah, they did it while state was here, but they're not going to shut them down for it. They'll get in trouble, they'll get yelled at. It's like the cops pulling you over saying, don't do this again. But until you actually go through like 3 times you've been fined and then shut down, they're going to push it. So just know that we get to rise above and say we follow the rules. And
Yeah.
I'm still a speeder, but when it comes to the salon, I follow the rules. I don't
Yeah,
push it.
definitely. And I guess one of the things I kind of found out where I worked for the supply store is I'm a very black and white person. I'm a rule follower to the T. I don't like cutting corners. I don't like trying to take the easy way out, I guess. So definitely for me, it's, I mean, people's lives are at stake. I mean, yes, it's just nails, but people's lives are at stake. I mean, you cut them. If you're using a different file that you used on somebody else, you may have given them what they have. And then that might be with them for the rest of their life. And it's just not
Yeah.
worth it. And so,
Yeah.
um, people that want to, spend a little, save a little time because, oh, well, 10 minutes is 10 minutes. We'll just do it for five, blah, 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 whatever. But when it comes to people's lives, there's no messing around with that because again, the fungus, the infections, all the stuff that people can have that they just wanted to come get their nails done, and now you've risked something that they have to do for the rest of their life, and that's not fair.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely obviously everybody here in Michigan that's going to have to deal with this rule because like my new boss, she didn't even know that that law dropped, and I was telling her about it because it came through as an email, and she goes, because she gets so many emails, she's like, I didn't even see it. But me being a nail tech, me going to be the lead and stuff, those are the things that I can look for and make sure that we're following because that's definitely something that I won't waver on.
Yeah. And we have to think about ourselves too. These people aren't going to come in and tell us that they have the flu or they have something that's contagious. So we too have to take these precautions. So I can say, we always talk bad about what we learn in school, what we learn in school. But boy, thank goodness they do take the time to teach us sanitation because that's so important. However, sometimes they don't follow the rules as well. I can see you going through and checking messages as well. Have we missed a few questions in there? I can see Gemma's watching us, which I've already talked about. I was just watching her live before we went live today.
um,
Wonderful.
Isabella is, she said there is a reason for rules. It's not just hands. It's the first I look meeting for someone. I don't give my hand for a shake if I feel not confident. Um, Not quite
Well,
sure.
okay. Well, I know Isabella, and actually Isabella's in a tech talk, and her English is a little bit broken, so sometimes you just kind of have to kind of go through her English a little bit.
Okay.
Um, So I'm not quite sure either, Isabella, what you're trying to say. However, I kind of think what she's saying is that when you first meet them, you know, she goes, I don't give my hand for a shake because they're not sanitized. Then maybe
Oh,
both of
gotcha.
you have
Yeah, yeah.
a hand, when it comes into that. So I'm not quite sure, but that's what I'm guessing. Yeah, wonderful. Um,
Yeah, in the UK, and unfortunately,
yeah.
other countries are different too. Like, I just found out in Germany, isopropyl alcohol that we use a lot for our sanitation in Michigan, you can't even get that um, unless you go in and you sign a waiver and stuff. You can only get, I think, 2 ounces at a time, and they regulate that like they regulate some of the drugs, over the counter drugs that are regulated now, and that's just alcohol, rubbing alcohol that we use.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the other countries, unfortunately, the hygiene aspect on that's got to be really different. I
Yeah.
do know that there are classes and stuff that they do um, where, I mean, they do a lot of tech stuff, but I guess I can't say I've ever seen the hygiene portion of it either. So yeah.
Yeah. And you know what else? It kind of bothers me, but then in a way, I'm glad I don't have to do it, is I think we should have refresher courses. I've been in this industry for 26 years, and if it wasn't for me getting in contact with companies and finding out what's new, going to trade shows, going to competitions and stuff, I wouldn't know what's the latest, what's the refresher course, things like that. We kind of get into our own habits. Some people lick their fingers as a habit, and you forget. I mean, it's little things like that that you're like, oh my gosh, or they sneeze go wash your hands. Like it's little things like that we forget about sanitation. And so I kind of feel like sometimes there should be refresher courses that you have to go for like continuing education hours, but then I'm thankful I don't have to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's so crazy and all over the world. You know, Gemma, in Gemma's live earlier, she actually showed somebody asked her what's her favorite file. And so she was talking about the files and she showed her file and she was like, I've been able to use this one since February and it's won her over and stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, many times I wish that I could reuse files and show longevity because I feel like every file, because I have to give every client a file. Every file I give them, I feel like it's still brand new. And I know that, man, if I could just wipe that off and cavicide it or soak it or something, I feel like it could be good. But you know what? They have their rules in place the way that it is. So even though we might disagree of the rule, we just still have to follow it per state and all of that and per insurances and stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I definitely, some of these messages and stuff about um, the U.S. and stuff. It's Michigan is talking about dropping the whole cosmetology license altogether, where anybody
Oh,
can stand behind the chair. Anybody.
wow.
I'm like
Wow.
going that it, and it's not put in place and stuff. It's been just rumor and everything, but that's scary. Um,
Hmm.
a lot of the people that I would come in contact with at my job were hairdressers, and the people that don't quite understand how it all works, if they're going to be standing behind the chair, they can burn people's scalp. They can give them chemical burns and everything.
Oh,
Imagine
yeah.
if that's like that for nails. It's going to be just as bad. And
Yeah.
um, I don't know. It's a scary thing. And
Yeah.
um, we're going on vacation. Actually, we leave tomorrow, and I'm excited because when we go to Florida, I want to try and find a nail supply store down there, and I'm going to see what I can find in the stores. So I'm super
Oh
excited
my
for that.
gosh. So you talk about finding mentors and stuff and the fun part of that. So Amy McClure is actually gonna from Profiles is coming live with me next Tuesday, maybe the week after, and then Doug Schoon. But Phoenix Van Dyke is in Florida. So is Profiles Girls. And when you go into their places or you get around Phoenix, they show you top-notch education with quality products. It's so much fun. But it kind of depends on what part of Florida you're going. And so is your husband going to allow you to like indulge in that and say, I have to stop in here because you know it's not going to be a minute?
No, it again. My husband has been probably my most amazing supporter for all of this. When I had to do state boards and stuff, he sat across from me and he sported two acrylic pinky nails for about 2 weeks. So I'd be like, we'll go to a store, and usually, like, you can see I have my nail polished right now. We'll go to a store, and I'm like, I can't tell what color it is. He'll just give me his hand so I can put the polish on his nail so I can see what it looks like. He's absolutely incredible. Um, but yeah, I don't think he's gonna have a problem with it. Honestly, um, he's there's a supply store downstate from us, and uh, he's like, well, let's go in. And when I was getting a couple things, I was trying to be cheap and not buy a bunch of stuff. And he goes, well, I figured you'd have like a $250 limit. I'm like, what?
I'll be right back.
So, right. So I'm like, oh, but, and I started small because I didn't want to overwhelm myself either. So I didn't
Oh yeah.
essentially do that. But, you know, um, where I live, we really don't have a lot of places you can go to get good supplies. So a lot of it, unfortunately, is online, which some stuff is fine. And then there's others that if you don't touch it, you don't know. And that's kind of like the scary part. Like for glitter, I'm super hoping I can find some more glitter because I'm obsessed with glitter. And I actually have this
Yeah.
on my table right here. It is a encapsulated glitter,
Yes.
and it's one of the things that I want to get better at. And this is my first encapsulation I've done, and obviously it's on a fake nail, but I want to be able to play around and do more, especially like with what Christy does. And unfortunately, we can't access any of Christy's stuff. Hello, Christy, we want your stuff.
She's talking to Kirsty Macon. However, let me give you a little bit of insight. So Gemma is on here today. She today just showed the new system of Halo super fine holographic glitters. So, and their pricing was 24 containers for like $65. I'm not sure what shipping would be, and I'm not sure if that's US dollars, but still, if you do the math, that's like $3 a glitter pod. Huge, huge savings.
I'm
And
gonna
so,
have to check out Gemma's
yeah,
stuff because I haven't yet.
and I have glitters from so many companies. And in our Tech Talk Worldwide group here, I have done so many free live tutorials. If you go to our album section, you'll see that a lot of us have done many tutorials, and I always add glitter. So I show you how to do a smile line using glitter, how to do fades with glitter, how to do all of that. And so Nail Kami just sent me a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if you saw the live that I did last week. And they're super fine prismatic glitters that you can burnish with them. You can turn them into like a halo effect or a mermaid effect, or you can keep them kind of raw. Amazing. So there's many companies that can send you glitter. So don't say you can't get it because it's everywhere. I love it. Yeah,
Well,
it's a
yeah,
game
and
changer.
her urban graffiti, I really want to try her polishes.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah, me too.
Gemma put the website up. I'm definitely going to that after we get off the live. So
Oh, wonderful.
I, I've just kind of been really putting myself out there lately, and again, I can't say enough on how grateful I am for you, Amy. When I reached out to you, I never expected to be able to live video chat with you, and you really make it feel like I'm not just one of a million people that are doing this. You actually really genuinely care about people, and that really, like I said, that relit my flame that I thought was gone because of the way that school treated me, and everything about school was really hard. Um, and I felt like paying for the school should have been enough to say, okay, you get your education, and it wasn't. So
No.
even after that, and the obstacles that I have overcome, um, it's one of those things that if you can just get the right person in your life, like I did with you can be unstoppable and realize, you know what? Maybe some kind words of someone that doesn't know you makes such a big impact that you realize maybe nails are my thing, and it wasn't just kind of a fluke that I went through nail school. Um,
Yeah.
so there's so much that I appreciate you for for this. Um, did you want to touch base really quick on what we talked about before?
I do. Actually, I have a lot, and we've already been live for an hour, and I have so many mental notes that I want to touch base. So, one, Shaun, thank you. Like the deepest, sincerest thank you. I'm so glad that you felt confident and comfortable enough to reach out because we tell people all the time, private message us. I mean, all of our admins have said that. Message us, we're here to help. We put posts up, we put comments in. We don't get paid for any of this. This is
Right.
because we care. We really want to see you succeed. And some of our admin are brand new like you, and they're like, I don't know where to get started, but I feel like it can still help. And then some of them are long timers like me that are like, yeah, kind of been there and I've tried that, but this is my favorite, and we have our opinions of that. And so you don't know till you reach out. And you know what, Shaun, you're probably at some point in time you're going to outgrow me, but you're going to find another mentor that's going to move you to the next level. One person is not going to make you grow it through your entire career. It's going to take a team and multiple people. They're going to teach you at different levels. I'm a business nail tech, so like I can teach you art is the fun, but really where a lot of people learn from me is a genre technique because it's a different type of technique because it's not already taught out there. And they learn the business side. They learn how to open the salon profitable, how to know their overhead costs, their business costs. And I teach these workshops for you guys. but I don't know everything. And so there's going to be an area that you're going to specialize in, and you're already going to know all the knowledge that I have. And you're going to have to keep finding mentors to move you up the next level. So always keep your mind open to multiple people. And like what you find in YouTube, YouTube's a great place to find mentors and our Facebook groups. And sometimes it's not even, you don't even realize your mentor is not even a nail tech. It might be somebody completely not even in the industry that can lift you up that way. But thank you for reaching out to me because it's been such a pleasure. So one of the things, and I cannot, my lips are sealed, like lock and sealed, is that you're also working on an invention. You're brand new in the nail industry and you already see something. I've never seen this on the market, so I'm super excited to be able to help you, make your invention come to fruition. And you know what? If it doesn't take off, it doesn't matter. It's enough that you and me are both going to learn from this, like huge. And I think this is going to be big, big, big in the nail industry and so helpful for schools and advanced nail techs, all of it. I'm excited for you. And I know that you and I behind the scenes talked, you guys probably don't know this, but like I was a president of our Chamber of Commerce. I've been in many leadership workshops for our state and all of that, not only as a nail tech, but just because I'm passionate about businesses and I want to see the mom and pop businesses. I want to see everybody succeed in that. So I've taken so many extra classes. And so in one of the classes, it was like this bracelet thing that we had to make, and I did mine on wire, and that way I could save it. And there was different steps when you have an idea, and I shared that with you, Shaun, and I can share it on here as well. But we have to go through all these steps to be successful, and you're already past so many of these steps and it's still there. It's still the superstar idea, and I'm excited because now it's like where the work part begins. The ideas out there, you have maybe the sinkers, you have so to touch base a little bit about this bracelet, and I'll actually do a separate live on this because I'll go find it. But the very first thing is just you having an idea. It's stuck in your head. It's just the idea. It's like your light bulb moment, your aha moment. But it's just an idea until you verbalize it, right? You could verbalize it to your husband. He doesn't know that the industry that you're in. So you verbalized it, but maybe it's not to the right people. So you have to keep verbalizing this. You have to start figuring out, is this really a good thing? Because now people are going to start giving you input. But you're giving it to clients. Your clients are like, yeah, that's a great idea. They have no clue what you're talking about. So
Right.
you then have to verbalize this to direct into the people that it's going to make a difference. And then that's when the star thing comes in, where now you have this idea that is a possibility. And now you have kind of a team that's rooting for you. But the next step that they have is called sinkers, and it is an actual like fishing hook sinker on there.
Right.
And the sinkers are the naysayers. And that's the biggest thing on this entire bracelet, because if you don't listen to what they have to say and take that and absorb it and learn from that, then you are sinking with it and your eye just sunk because you allowed them to come in and just sink it. And you get fear at this point because all along the way it's been a really good idea. Now the fear comes in because you're like, they don't like it. Okay, maybe two people didn't like it, but all the rest of the people did. Do not go to the sinker and say, well, your opinion doesn't matter. I'm going to do it anyways. You say simply, thank you for your opinion. I'm glad that you shared that with me. I will take that into consideration. That is it. You don't have to agree. You don't have to disagree. You listen to them like politicians are. If they constantly go against your idea or ignore you, you get mad. But if they acknowledged you, you're automatically no longer that sinker. And sometimes through communication with them, you can make them not a sinker, you make them a believer. And if not that sinker, you've acknowledged them, they'll go away because they're going to find somebody else to sink. Once you get past that sinker, and you have all your superstar people with you, it's a safety clip on there. And the safety clip means these are the people that are going to stick with you. They're with you through the rest of this. They've been with you through your idea, maybe writing it down on paper. You've verbalized it, you can vision it. You've maybe even created like a little uh, demo for it, then it's the rest of the time to get you and your team to push it the rest of the way. And the end is a penny. And the penny is unibliss plurium. I can never say it, but it means one. That means it's all together and it's made one. And then that idea is it. And so you've gone through most of these steps already, and I'm super excited because what you're working on, I really think is going to help out so many people, so many people.
So just to touch for just a little bit to give you guys an idea of that it is going to be coming out. Amy and I are working on something together, and behind the scenes, obviously. But I think that because I am new and the type of schooling that I had is really what pushed me to this point. And it's, I think that even if it doesn't come to fruition, getting the idea out there and, you know, say we troubleshoot and we just can't seem to figure it out, getting it out there and so everybody knows may spawn an idea that can become something that's absolutely huge, because there's so many things that people try to perfect in our industry and they're totally missing one side of it completely. And that's kind of where I'm coming from, and I want people to be able to start at the beginning, um, that they can see it from both sides of the spectrum and realize that, because usually 9 out of 10 people that are nail techs enjoyed getting their nails done before they decided to become a nail tech. So
Yes.
in this world, it's not only coming from us being nail techs, but from becoming the client and what the client goes through as well. So um, this, I think that when Amy and I collaborate on this and get this going, I think that I'm hoping that everybody's going to be, oh my God, why didn't anybody ever think of this? Because that's kind of how I brought it to Amy, and Amy was like, you know, I don't know why we haven't thought of it that way. So I'm super, super excited, and I know I'm new, but at the same time, sometimes that's what it takes to see something that, with being in the industry for so long, you kind of overlook because you've been doing it this way for so long. Kind of
Yes.
like with your technique, Amy, that you're coming out with. That I'm super
Yeah.
excited to see what that is. Um, I don't have a name for what this will be yet, but when I do, believe me, I want to hit the ground running with this and really have Amy. Amy has been so inspiring to me, and I know that she has for a lot of you as well. And one person can't push you up with the, you need the team, yes, but in your words that you had for me as not knowing me inspired me to go, I want to do this. I can do this. I want to make this work. Because all of my excuses that I had that I told you about meant nothing, because that's all they are excuses. And so when we
Yeah.
talked, I realized I can't use them anymore to hold me back. If I want to do this, I have the support team. I just need to go for it. And
Yeah.
I can't say enough about you, Amy. You are absolutely incredible. And I am not going to get teary eyed, dang it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. That yes, um, you are I totally look up to you, and in my eyes you're a celebrity. And so when you reach out to me, I couldn't believe that you took the time to FaceTime me, especially messaging back and forth. Okay, yeah. And you know what, it could have been somebody else doing it for you, and you took the time to reach out to me as well. And I can,
Yeah.
from the bottom of my heart, I cannot thank you enough for just the little nudge you gave me to want to go forward. And I know I do have an up personality, and a lot of it was dragging me down, and you kind of helped me erase that.
Good.
So I
Good.
thank you so,
Thank
so
you.
much for that.
Thank you for that. Okay, so I have to change the subject because seriously, I will be a bawling mess. And I don't cry pretty. I get red. I'm not pretty. Okay. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. So I'm going to change the subject
Isabella even thanks you
completely.
too.
And okay, so I like to challenge you guys, but I like to challenge you all with what I think is real challenges. I'm not saying automatically you're going to go and do some stiletto nails when you've never worked on the person and it needs to be these lengths and this shape and all of that. I challenge you with what I think is still intermediate level, like the beginner, intermediate, advanced. I try to make these challenges that can challenge us all because for years, oh, sorry.
Sue, I'm so sorry for making you cry.
I'm telling you, it's not pretty. And so, for years, if it wasn't for people challenge me along the way, and usually it was clients. Clients would come in and they would have a statue of something, like those faceless angels. Like this isn't one, but I've had clients come in with like this. I want this on a nail. Because I'm a yes person, I'm like, okay, well, your next nail appointment, I will mark off extra time for that. I did not do that for today, and I need the time to do that. And, I'm honest with them. And so their next nail appointment, I'm like, here it is. I'm gonna try this. And that is the challenging that did that for me. And usually it came from clients. So you guys know that I did the Picasso challenge last month with Nails Magazine. We turned it in. We don't know the results of that yet. The next one that's coming out, and I talked about it in a live the other day, is a portrait challenge. So what you're supposed to do is take any famous person and paint them on a nail. So I've never done this before, ever, because I still challenge myself a lot too. And obviously, Nails Magazine put out the challenge, so Nails Magazine is challenging me to do this because that's, what it is. So here's what I did, and I've showed you guys. I did Albert Einstein with his tongue sticking out. I can still see
Oh
where I can change
my
things a little bit.
God.
Yeah. I've never done anything like this in my entire life, ever. You don't know till you try. And you know what? I might try to redo this. I'm very happy with this guy. He makes me laugh every time I see him. But make sure when you challenge yourself that you're challenging yourself with something that will make you happy. His tongue sticking out. How I know I was frustrated and I've spent hours on this, but how fun is it to recreate him? So therefore, find something that challenges you, but that's still fun. So Tech Talk Worldwide, it's going to start June 1st, and it's going to be a 3-month challenge. There's no excuses in this, okay? The only excuse might be, and if this is your case, call me, is that you have to go buy a canvas, an 8 by 10 canvas or 11 by 14. I haven't decided yet. And they cost about $3, okay? So if you need a canvas, you let me know.
Did you
Here's the
see Sue's
challenge.
did you see Sue's comment?
No, not yet. My eyes are still watery and my vision is bad up close. I can't even read right now.
It says my first attempt at a portrait scared the dog, LOL. Dude,
Well,
that's
then you
great.
stopped and did it again. Or you did it right. Maybe you were meant to scare in the dog, right? Okay, so the next challenge, now forgive, this is not what I'm talking about, but I want to give you an idea. Some people are worried about nail art, okay? But nail art has so many forms and so many mediums you can use. You can use glitter, you can use, so most of this was nail, all the products on this one was nail me, but I used a very fine brush and I used their gel paint and I used gel polish for it. And so find a medium that's good for you. And then I want you to recreate on a tip and match that. You can use a different form on a canvas. Okay? It's gonna be a challenge, right?
That's a big
But what a
order,
fun
yeah.
one. You could use glitters, you could use like this one is all done in Sharpies. It will be backwards to you guys.
Yeah.
It's Sharpie. And the flowers that are faded out, I colored it with Sharpie and I took alcohol on a Q-tip and did it so it made an alcohol ink. You can do that on a nail. And then I wrote on it with Sharpie. Okay. So the challenge is then when you do this. So in my mind, you would have a month to do the nail tip and match it to a canvas. Okay. And you don't have to use like if you did the nail tip with a black and white gel polish, obviously you're not going to spend that much gel nail polish on this. You're going to use black and white like acrylic paint or something. So that, that part's all fine. Whatever you do to recreate to make it the same. So maybe the first month is that. The next 2 months, I want you to take your canvas and I want you to go into an art gallery, wherever you think you can sell it, and have them auction it off, have them raffle it off, or have them sell it. Because I want to prove to you that on this little nails that we charge $5 for artwork or free, I want to prove that your artwork is a lot more valuable that in another medium and that it would last. We don't have to turn on, take it off. And then it's going to be a worldwide charity. So half the money you're going to get to keep for yourself to reimburse you to buy your canvas. The other half, the winner is going to be able to choose what charity they want all the rest of the other money to go to from all of the techs all over the world. Half of our money will go to some charity that the winner chooses. The Nails magazine is teaming up with me and you will be published in their magazine. Yeah,
That is
this is
awesome.
how cool this gets to be. Yeah. So I am putting that out the other day. I have it formally ready to go June 1st. So you guys get a little bit of sneak peek today. This is what I'm talking about, pushing yourself. And so if you need somebody else to push you, then I'm the one pushing you. And many of you are on here. I know Julia was on here earlier. She's probably the one I've pushed the most, but I push with kindness and I push with helping you along the way. So I'm going to do some live tutorials on how to do it. So if you want to mimic what I'm doing and try it that way, you can. If you want to come up with your own, you can. But I want you guys to learn the products and how to use them. And then I also want you to use them in a different form and push yourself to the next level. And then we're going to turn this into a charity. So this is going to have benefit, not only for ourselves and each other, but obviously for a charity of somebody's choice. So wonderful. Okay,
Okay,
to
Karen.
finish up Tech
Awesome.
Talk today, yay! So, Shaun, thank you again for sharing your experience. As a new tech, I like your insight because sometimes there's things that I forget about, and it's about contracts and booth rent versus commissions, and who supplies what products and insurances, and it's there's so much to it. And when you've been in it for a while, you kind of forget. So, thank you for refreshing my memory. I'm so excited about your invention. I cannot stand it, and I can't wait till we can come on Tech Talk again and share it again. So good luck with all of that, which I know I get to talk to you some more. Next week, I have, dun, dun, dun. First of all, my daughter graduates this weekend, so I'm taking I won't be live this weekend, nothing. I have family things to do. Next Tuesday, I'll be live with Amy McClure from Profiles, which you might actually be there in her store next week. The same time we're going live. That would be fun. And then also next Wednesday, I go live with Doug Schoon, which we all know has amazing information for us. And once again, Tech Talk Live is about getting proper, true education to our techs rather than just people's opinions all the time. So thank you guys so much for joining live on Tech Talk. You can tell I'm emotional, I'm excited, I'm a big bundle of everything right now. And I thank you, Shaun, for sharing your heart and your passion with us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Bye,
And as
everybody.
always, all the questions that are up there as you're in the replay, we'll go through and answer any questions you have. Sometimes though you have to tag my name in it because Facebook doesn't notify me, or I get so many that I don't see it. So if there's something that we haven't answered and you need an answer, tag my name or tag Shaun's name in it so that we can see it and make sure we can get you answered. So, all right. Well, I can see Karen just signed on, and Karen, we talked about you, so you might need to rewatch this on replay. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you, Gemma, for joining in. And I'm sure that Shaun will be in touch with you in just a moment for some of your glitters. And you guys, thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.